Hello everyone, I'm Kwun Yee Cheung, a partner in the Hong Kong dispute resolution practice at Baker McKenzie and regional chair of our firm's restructuring and insolvency practice. It gives me great pleasure to invite you to join us at our upcoming event, The Future of Disputes, where my team and I will be discussing key issues for clients in the R&I space. In this episode, I'll be speaking with Emmanuel Chua, a local principal at Baker McKenzie Wong & Leo in Singapore. Emmanuel is a senior disputes resolution lawyer with expertise working on multinational matters cross-border across Asia. In the next few minutes, Emmanuel and I will be giving you a snapshot of the latest R&I issues, trends and developments in the region and what's happening outside, as it may affect those doing business within the region. Allow me to start with a few key R&I themes, and I will then hand over to Emmanuel. As we all know, the pandemic has certainly meant a new normal for businesses. Although industry agnostic, some have been particularly hard hit, including retail, hospitality and travel. Companies have had to grapple with issues concerning solvency, counterparty risks, business size and so on very quickly. The key has been to recognize issues early and to find solutions. The earlier the review, the more options that are available, and businesses can retain some kind of control over the situation rather than reacting to the circumstances. Whilst the pandemic seems to be easing in some jurisdictions, regionally and globally, different countries will be at different stages of recovery, and it will take some time before we return to normality. Some key R&I themes which have impacted all sectors are as follows. Directors' duties. Many businesses have had to take a critical look at their business size and shape, the location of key operations and stores, and difficult decisions have had to be made, including store closures and divestments. During this period, a key concern is directors' duties and what they can do during this critical twilight period. What are the risks, how they can be mitigated, what is best for the business and also for the individual director who is dealing with these fiduciary duties. Dealing with creditors and stakeholders with minimum exposure is also a key concern. In Hong Kong, the long-awaited provisional supervision regime is on the horizon. This will change the landscape for directors too, as insolvent trading will be introduced, in line with many other countries. Counterparty risk has also been a key concern, given the uncertainty within which businesses are dealing and how quickly things have changed. Disputes in relation to the rights and obligations of JV parties, contractual obligations, are all at the forefront of people's minds. An examination of contractual rights, including, for example, exit rights, capital commitments, are key concerns, especially when entering into new arrangements and contracts. Companies will also need to look at counterparty risk for insolvency, and protecting assets such as licenses, IP rights are key for maintaining value. Finally, I've mentioned one of the key recent changes and updates is on cross-border restructurings. The recognition of foreign liquidators in the Hong Kong courts has become an increasing trend and is one of the many tools in the toolbox for restructuring cross-border businesses, in line with many other jurisdictions. With that, I'll now hand over to Emmanuel, who will look at some of the developments in the region. Thank you, Emmanuel.
Many thanks, Kwun Yee. I'm delighted to be part of this Future of Disputes initiative, and I look forward to meeting all of you in May for our live webinar. As Kwun Yee has mentioned, the past 12 months have been seismic, to say the least. The severe and unexpected effects of the pandemic have necessitated prompt and decisive action from Asian governments to prop up their respective economies. These include direct measures such as stimulus packages, government-backed loans, and moratoriums against commencements of insolvency proceedings. As the dark clouds start to subside, a number of these measures are similarly being rolled back across the region. In Singapore, provisions under the COVID-19 Act providing temporary relief for distressed individuals and businesses by increasing the monetary thresholds for bankruptcy and insolvency expired in October 2020. Similarly, in India, measures were put in place to suspend the initiation of fresh insolvency cases under the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. This prohibition has just been removed. In the Philippines, the one-off 60-day grace period granted for the payment of all outstanding loans falling due became ineffective on December 2020. At the same time, restructuring laws in Asia have been keeping pace to meet the expected uptick in distress situations and insolvencies as a result of these developments. Malaysia has fairly recently introduced two key corporate rescue mechanisms, namely judicial management and corporate voluntary arrangements. These bear strong similarities with UK's voluntary arrangement and administration proceedings, respectively. In India, groundbreaking reforms were introduced with the introduction of the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. More recently, in April 2021, amendments to the code were introduced to provide an alternative insolvency framework for micro, small, and medium enterprises, or MSMEs, including a prepackaged insolvency resolution process. In Myanmar, the Insolvency Law 2020 was passed in February, introducing a new corporate rescue and rehabilitation procedure and also contains provisions dealing with cross-border insolvency matters. Singapore, in the meantime, has been the bastion of change and reform in the restructuring space in recent years. In 2020, we witnessed the enactment of the Insolvency, Restructuring and Dissolution Act, or the IRDA. This is a landmark piece of legislation that consolidates Singapore's personal and corporate insolvency and debt restructuring laws into a single piece of legislation. The IRDA is the latest in a series of wide-ranging reforms to Singapore's R&I landscape, the most notable of which were passed in 2017, which incorporated a number of Chapter 11 features into Singapore's insolvency laws, which were previously based on very much on the English Act. These included automatic moratorium relief, the ability to seek and obtain rescue financing on a priority basis, and the availability of prepackaged schemes. The IRDA builds on this and also updates relevant laws to be aligned with international best practices, including restrictions on ipso facto clauses and out-of-court judicial management. Finally, the IRDA also introduced a simplified insolvency program, which came into effect in January 2021, which is designed to provide simpler, faster, and lower-cost debt restructuring and winding up processes for micro and small companies. It is certainly a fascinating and fast-moving time in the R&I space in the Asia Pacific. To learn more, please make sure to register and join us on the 21st of May 2021 at 10:30 a.m. Thank you very much and see you all.